Hey there, Silver Tongue Devil here, and in this episode we're going to be going up against Paradise Lost, but I've decided that the bow would be best in my right hand. I usually have it in my left. Today we're going to do it in my right. Through popular demand, apparently I have to continue this run. Although the fact that we ran out of time well before I thought we had last time I played this, as I said at the end of the last stream, just tells me that I enjoyed it. If I lose track of time, it means I'm enjoying myself. I'll be honest, I don't even think I can make it over there. Does teleport arrows even go that far when in this hand? Can I shard over that way? No, doesn't look like it. Right, okay. Tutorial head on now. So, quick recap for those of you who missed it. Last episode, we went through Purgatory and the Pit in a world record breaking 2 hours and 50 minutes. Cycle 1, I might add as well. Now, we managed to recover. We managed to get a decent amount of life back. We managed to get a holy armor and a grace of God. So I'm actually in quite a good position, although we got absolutely fucking caned in the last episode, but we've managed to bring that back. So, first things first, how do we go about approaching this when we can't shoot for toffee? To be honest with you, Fish, I wasn't far off of dying either. It was probably because of the fact that I was telling you guys all the things that I'm doing that slowed me down. So, what we're going to attempt to, this one is a bit of a nasty configuration to get across to. We don't want to go into there. That's like a miniature party room. You are so exposed teleporting down there. We also don't want to be fighting these guys at distance, because I don't think I'll be able to fucking hit them for starters. But, so our only option now is get as close to the edge as possible and try and teleport over onto that edge. Now, straight away, we're going to go with a... God, will it even go that far? I don't know. Now, what I am doing, for those of you who don't know, is when you draw the teleport arrow, if you can feel vibration on the hand that you are drawing the arrow with, it will land and you will teleport. So it then kind of takes aim out of the equation a little bit, and you don't have to judge it or guesstimate it and throw a load of teleport arrows over there. If you can land somewhere when you are aiming the teleport arrow, so for me right now, because I'm aiming at the floor, this hand is vibrating. So that's a thing. Ooh, number two. Hey! Nice. Lured him in just like I was planning on. So, tip number 2, especially for new starters as well, because when you first begin, you will be using Cataclysm as your go-to for destroying Anakim if you have it, or an arrow for destroying Anakim if you have it. If you finish on a special arrow, when you go to the next stage, you will still have that special arrow equipped. I have wasted many an arrow because of that. So just bear that in mind. Now, what we want to do here ideally is take... or I would take all of these lot from up here, but I'm not confident in the fact that I could hit each of those, so we're going to play it a little bit differently. This is a nice area. There is decent cover. We could throw some arrows out there. We could then hide here. And again, another one of Matt's little examples, ForTheRight's rather, is if you've got a lot of cover and a lot of protection, it cuts down the angles of which things can assault you in. I talk similar on my Paradise Lost video that I did. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to play it a little bit more safely. We're going to fight our way up onto here. Thankfully, everything's going to be close range. It's all going to be weak, not going to be able to hit us. Easy job. Just the one Cupid and a witch. or a banshee. Oh, look at that shot. We're in. We're up. Now, I did fire an arrow that missed, a stray shot, and that might bring some cupids in. So my rule of thumb, if you fired a shot off, this is a big point on Paradise Lost, I think. I'm now going to talk to you for what I believe is going to be about 10 seconds, which is probably already up by now. The reason being is because of exactly that. Cower. So, the reason why I say about counting to 10, if you think, even if you remotely think you've alerted something, that guy explained it very nicely for me just then. If you wait and they are going to come, they will come. If you make a 10 count, that gives them enough time to teleport. Cupids can go even later, though, on some occasions. Now, that guy's not going to see us. He's not going to get alerted. We're not in visual range. Let's see what else is round this corner. There's a couple of knights there. Do I want to fight him out there? Do I fuck? A little bit of cornering, I think. One for you. And a couple for you. Now, I would like to think that you're all the same as me. Regardless of how bad your accuracy is, you can hit headshots at this sort of distance. It's very close. And again, what I've done there is what I've deemed as cornering. So don't be too close to the edge when you do this. Otherwise, they won't walk round the outside and then turn and attack you. They'll just come straight at you. So this is why you have to be a little bit far off of said corner or pillar. And even if you can, see this pillar sticks out a little bit, tuck yourself in here. Just makes things a little easier. Now, what's next? That banshee's going to be a problem. Now, the only thing that we can start doing here, there's a lot less going on over here, and we've got that guy's attention. And I would be tempted to, because again, banshees, be tempted to come back here and make sure you are abusing slow time. Now, I got away with it in Paradise Lost. I am not going to get away with without doing slow time in this mode. Or rather, I got away without using much slow time in Purgatory. There is no fucking way that's going to work here unless we want to die. So, the technique we are going to employ. Let's see if we can bring this banshee over to us. Cutting down the angle of which she can come at us. We have alerted a cupid as well, so we want to deal with this lovely lady as quickly as possible. So easy. So easy. My brain melts every time I draw the arrow. It really fucking does. Those ones are too far away for me to want to deal with. Also, firing an arrow up there could alert multiple. I want to alert one at a time. So first off, we know that there's a few cupids down here. I'm not going to just start wanging arrows over there in the hope of getting one of those attentions. I'm going to have a little peek. And I think there'll be one down there. Now, see where that one turns? If they start turning, you know you've been spotted. Again, hand on or finger on quiver select when you are expecting a cupid. Or when you are doing the whole counting to 10 and not expect, or potentially having drawn in something. Let's have another little check, shall we? And we've got another one, so we'll come back here. Now, you remember what I said about area and leaving enough real estate for enemies to teleport into. Now, with monks, if we were here and that's all they've got, a monk is not going to teleport this close to us. They may go over there. That does happen, and you want to avoid that like the fucking plague. Banshees have no concept of personal space. Nightmare during the pandemic they were. Now, so we're just going to carry on doing this, because this is a very dangerous level. And it's when you start getting swarmed and start getting lots and lots of things on you is when you start getting problems. We want to stay away from those ones. We want to try, may even have to, go up onto here to get attention. Now, see, he's turned and the Banshee's coming as well. So, very much like what I do in my pit video, we've created a safe space. This is a good place to fight from. Yeah. And we're just going to keep on doing this. Now, I know this is slow, and I know this is methodical. That's the word, right? But we've got our safe space. We've cleared this out. We may as well make use of what we have. Now, these two are far away enough from each other that we can engage one without engaging the other, providing accuracy is on point. So, the only way that you will get better at making these shots is by taking them. What should I be aiming for? Center of mass. Even I, if this was in the other hand, would not aim for a headshot there. I would aim for center of mass and see if I can nail it. Again, locomotion. Now, one of the other things with Cupids, yes, they are a pain in the arse. Yes, they're the one that usually takes life off of you, but they are wildly inaccurate except when they're not. More often than not, most of these shots that he's going to fire at me are not fired at me. They are fired around me. It's only occasionally that a Cupid will actually shoot. Yeah, nice one, Michael. Thank you for popping in and letting me know and us know all about your second place, you little brick. No, good job, dude. Right, we're not playing that game. So again, now, I've alerted just the one. Well, this is the principles behind it, Al, if I'm honest. Now, those knights aren't going to be any problems to us. The reason why I shot at that Cupid down there is I was basically banking on the fact that there's not going to be any Cupids underneath there, because we would have alerted them already and they would have already come to us. There's not usually ones up there. They like to stay in the sky. As far as the knights are concerned, they're no threat. We'll come back to them later, and I will show you another little technique that apparently everybody but me fucking knew about. Cheers, Mike. No, good effort, mate. You've taken on board what I said and beat me, so no one to blame but myself. But as I say, I didn't even get it. I didn't even do that myself. That was more Camille's idea than anything else. So we don't need to worry about those knights anymore, but we do want to kill them because they are easy kills, as I will show you in a minute, even with the 0% accuracy stat that I have at the moment. But they are easy kills, and if we can kill them, there's a possibility that they will generate items for us. Now, there's quite a lot over here. How are we going to deal with them? Well, we're going to go and find ourselves some lovely cover and try and tackle them one at a time. I must remember right-hand side. So I am keeping my hand hovered over slow time right now. Now, one of the other things that I've done, if you are using locomotion, and this will happen to you, is you can find yourself getting tucked. That's not good. You can find yourself getting tucked into such a tight corner that your locomotion stick doesn't work. So always test before you start realizing that you're not going to be able to rely on it. I have then, and I'm good now. So we've got that one. We've got two interested in us. So ideally what we want them to do is teleport at us. Now, I don't think they might not have enough real estate to do so. So they are probably just going to fly in or close the distance. If they're not, we can play this a little bit differently. So again, something that I went on with in my Paradise Lost tutorial. We are going to pop out, take shots. They're going to be amazing. And then pop back in again. And that's just literally simply stepping out of my cover and stepping back in. That arrow probably looked closer than it was. It wasn't aimed at me. It was aimed just off of me. And again, this is one of the things that Cupids like to do. Now we've got a Banshee's attention with that wildly inaccurate arrow. We know that she's quite happy to invade our space, so we'll just sit here and wait for her. Again, the Cupids are the real problem and prize. Let's see if we can use our little stepping in and stepping out technique. So that one over there. So we know where he is. Draw before you step out, fire 1 or 2 shots, step back in. God, I haven't done that for a very long time. So, now we've cleared some of this. Always be on that slow time. Now that we've cleared some of this, we're going to go and deal with those knights. And I'm going to show you a lovely little technique that will allow us to deal with them without taking any return fire whatsoever. This will allow us to get headshots, or at the very least, body shots, but we should be aiming for the head at this point. So, I can now see his head. And if I make use of these crenellations and make it so that I can see his head, but I'm not presenting enough of a target to him, he won't throw his axes. Which then means that that's a nice, simple, and easy kill for us. Damn it. Nice and so easy. Very simple. Come on now. We can do it. Damn it. Come on now. Yes! Easy. Easy headshot, as you can see. So, there's a red knight down here as well, so we're going to do the same. Now, we've cleared a little bit of that area up, and there's a reason why I want to get this. There's another reason I want to get this cleared as well. Where is he? He's over there. There's another reason why I want to get this cleared as well, because it's another safe space for us to retreat to. If you have multiple redundancy in your safe spaces that you can retreat to, if you get overwhelmed at one, you can come back to another. And what that then does is the enemies then stagger their way back to you. Let's say we jump in there, we alert that, and 3 Cupids come to us. If we then jump back to another safe space, maybe only 2 of them will follow. If we then go to another, then maybe only 1 of them, and they'll get less and less, usually. Higher cycles, they tend to really try and swarm you. So again, you can see here these crenellations. Now, this technique, as I understand it, and apparently I'm late to the party on this one, is all about reducing the... You remember I talked about you as the player's hitbox. Imagine... I don't know if this is definite, but it seems to work for me. So imagine you have a sheet in front of you from your forehead down to... I don't know, about your belly button, maybe just above that. And if things go through that sheet, that counts as a hit. But it is also the hitbox that the knights detect to actually start throwing axes at. And what I've found, and apparently other people knew about, is if you reduce that hitbox, well, I think these knights may be on some kind of axe budget, and that they won't waste an axe. Now, if I move forward and present more of myself, oh, you better believe he's going to let me have the good news with that axe. But if I stay here, present as little a target to him as possible, he'll allow me to have my way with him, because accuracy is a thing. Now, this is a great way, believe it or not, a great way to up your score, because this is safe. And I think a lot of people find that, Deb, to be honest with you. But there we have it. I've managed to get two easy headshots on a particularly tough enemy. Yes, we could go dive round there and run around and fight him, and it could be amazing and chaotic and all over the fucking show, and wild arrows going everywhere whilst you're getting your shit pushed in by a red knight. Or we can come up here and just give ourselves a very easy time. And it's a good way for you new starters to practice your accuracy, practice your technique, practice your aim point. The more you practice it at what would be a close range, the better. The better. No worries, Debs. I'm glad it helps. The more you do a thing, the better you will get at it. Sorry, Dave. What was that? Did you change your eye? Oh no, I didn't. No. Shit. No, I didn't. To be fair, it's still... I think it's still on the right. Or does it look like I have? I definitely didn't. It should still be on the right-hand side. And to be fair, that's... It should be on the right-hand side. That's how I'm aiming. It's going to look bloody awkward regardless of what I do, so... Okay, so... Cupid's up the top. Cupid hidden over there. Cupid over there. Banshee, Knight. So, what do we know about this area? If I teleport over to there, I'm likely to attract attention up here. Possibly even attract attention down that corridor. There's an enemy over there, so that's kind of out. So we've got two options. We can bottom dwell, but Camille's not here, so I don't have to. So the other option that we've got is we're going to go and carve ourselves out another little safe space by going and landing up here. Is it the... Okay, give me a second. To be fair, the worst that will happen is I'll just have to... Because the stream won't end because it's from here. Bear with. Don't know if you all know about this or not, but basically in the camera. So I changed it to right eye perspective. This should shift. Oh, it hasn't ended the stream. That's good. Right. Has it shifted? You'll have to tell me. This might help for you guys to see what I'm doing. I don't think it's a very good interpretation of what I'm doing. Oh, hello. Let's corner you then. I don't know if that's any better for you. I can change it back if needs be. But obviously, you know, I want to try and give you as good a view on the action as possible. It did change, cool. The reason why I'll have to remember... Right, okay, if you're going to do that to me, chat, you're going to have to remind me to transfer it back over when I'm playing a gun game or something. Cool, okay. Yeah, it's always... Oh, I heard a creak of a bow. So... That was me chatting to you and not paying attention to what's above. Which is going to happen. So there is something to be gleaned from that, though. Paradise Lost is a level full of things like that. You can see that guy there, but of course... So I've not coined the phrase, I've put the phrase to Paradise Lost that you need to have your head on a swivel. In addition to that, you need to be checking those corners and checking those little crenellations and little bits and pieces, because it's guys like that you go walking off whilst you're talking to chat and they'll fucking get you. So we know he's up there, and if I'm right, we can get a free shot at him because hang on. That was terrible. At a distance they won't get alerted. We're going to retreat, we're going to count to, or I'm just going to wait for him to come in, but I'm going to count to at least 10, but I'm using my slow time, and then we're just going to nail him right in the knee. Ha! So at a distance, they won't get alerted. They have if you imagine that they have when you fire a hand of God, that sphere, if you imagine every enemy, as well, flying ones especially, has a sphere around them. Flying ones, the sphere works. With these, it would be like a semicircle, I would imagine, so that they have to make eye contact with you as well to be able to do it. Note how that guy was above us, but he didn't get alerted until we started shooting arrows, and the reason being is because he couldn't actually make visual confirmation with us because his eyes couldn't see us. We could see his fat little body, but we couldn't see his head. If we can't see him, he can't see us. So hopefully that makes sense. As far as those guys are concerned, they won't get alerted until we either do one of two things. Get close enough or fire an arrow near them. So, that is a good point. Do I have any? So what I'm trying to go for here is, if I show you all the techniques that you can do just using vanilla arrows, and maybe just, I mean, I didn't want to have to use Cataclysm on Anakim in the last stream, but we were running out of battery life and it was going to take me fucking ages to finish him off normally. I'm sure I can, and I should revisit that at some point. We'll go back and have a look at that. Doing Anakim left-handed with no special arrows. Again, what Al says is quite right. Pestilence is a fantastic arrow just shot up into these ceilings. They will affect the enemies above them. Cataclysm is the same. Curse of God is the same. Even Tempest will go through these, but with Tempest it's, you know, you need to have some sort of visual confirmation, otherwise you're just shooting blind. Now again, oh, you saw us, did you? Well, good. Again, we heard the scream of the Banshee. We know that she's going to come teleporting down our throat regardless of space. Space is not an issue for her. She may lose interest, but not often. Jump scares there. So, but yeah, there's a lot of things that I could cover in here, but as I say, the reason why I want to do it vanilla is I can never count on what drops you would have as a new starter or a beginner or what have you. So if I give you the basic tools with the basic arrows, then you should be able to manipulate the better things and make use of the better things. Now, that knight has been alerted. He will come running at us once we hit the ground. But yeah, if I do it all vanilla, or as best as I can vanilla, there is the possibility that if you get good with and make use of these better special arrows, then you'll be able to do this 20 times faster than I'm doing it. Now, ooh, what have we got down there? Just the one? Okay. So he's turned, he's alerted. We'll just have him for now. We'll look at the real estate that we want to give him. But I think he's teleported. Oh, he hasn't even teleported. Oh, he's just stayed where he is. There he is. There's a knight round the corner here. Again. Cupids aren't supposed to do that. So there's a reason why I think they do that, though, and I'll explain that in a minute after we nail this guy. So remember what we were talking about as far as gaze is concerned. Now, enemies will usually teleport into your gaze. Things like monks will nearly always do it. Cupids have a little bit of a special weapon up their sleeve. They're not like skeleton archers in that they will actively try and teleport behind you. But what I find is, if you limit... I did look there, that's quite right. If you limit their options, then sometimes they will teleport to others. So the way to conquer it is probably more, as Al says, it's probably more to do with the fact that I did look there. And they can be a lot more delayed on their teleport. But that's not to say that... As a general rule, they should teleport within where you are looking or where you have looked. As a general rule, you hear that, you hear the teleport noise, and you can't see them, you hit slow-mo and you look. And that way, you shouldn't get crept up on. So again, we don't know what's round that corner, so ideally, we want to lure this knight via visuals. And then using a little bit of cornering again makes this guy 2 easy headshots. 2 easy headshots. It's worth having a peek over the sides every now and again just to make sure that you haven't missed any of the cupids on the peripheries. That will happen. Those are again the sneaky ones that shoot you in the back. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Right. We don't want to be throwing arrows down that massive corridor. We've cleared this space and that guy is alerted. I think he's stuck though. Let's get his attention. Where's that guy? There he is. Again, nice little bit of slow time usage. So, is this guy stuck? I think he is. No, he's not. Well, he might be, because he's throwing axes. That usually means that he thinks he's on a different level to us. Oh, he sorted himself out. Look at that. Let's not play that game. Let's get around the corner again. Now, I could have shot arrows at him as he is running down the corridor at me. But because he has a shield, I then need something within my archer's vocabulary, which would be decent accuracy. I don't have the luxury of decent accuracy. So anything for me that comes at me, rushing at me with a shield, I'm going to corner. Every fucking time. If I have opportunity to do it. And if we're taking it at a nice slow pace, we should always have opportunity to do it. I don't want to be wanging arrows down there because I don't know how much in the distance could potentially get alerted. So we're going to visually bring this one over to us. I have looked over here, so the likelihood is he will teleport into that area. So that's where we want to be looking at. And we've tucked ourselves nicely into a corner, which means that we do have cover. What I would say is if he had teleported here, and if they teleport to an area that you are not expecting, and again, the more you play it, the more you get into it, the more you'll get an idea of where they're going to go. Like, for instance, I know that they'll go there instead of in there, but they could go there. And when you get jumped and things happen, and you then have to do it on the cuff, you've got two options. Again, as I said in the Paradise Lost, you can diffuse the situation very quickly with a very quick snapshot arrow from slow time. However, the safe way is to run. We all run. All the people who get decent scores, we run a lot because it's just safer. We're playing without skill. Running is very much within the vocabulary at the moment. Now, we know that this is a lie. There's a lot of enemies in the background that we can't see because they haven't spawned in yet. So not only have we got the rule of 17, for those of you who don't know about that, that there can only be, the game can only render 17 enemies on screen at a time. The other exception to that rule is distance. There is a certain distance that enemies won't render until they are within. In this situation, we've probably got a combination of both of those factors. There is a lot, I'll use this to point, there is a lot of, and I'm not going to fire arrows up there because that's a fucking death sentence. There is usually a lot of enemies in that corridor. So although we can only see these three, and there's a banshee pissing around up the top there, this is still very dangerous if we just start loosing arrows off. We can make use of this rule of 17 in a constructive way, in that there's only two enemies here. If we fire arrows off and there's things around the corner, we could alert them and create a situation for ourselves. The lot of enemies in there is stopping things spawning down here that could be alerted. So we can use our amazing accuracy to take that one out without having to worry about alerting things at the back. And note how another Cupid has now just spawned. The more you do this, the more... Yeah, no, it's hey, you can... Even I need more practice, especially on this side. So, the other thing that you can do here as well is... You can make use of that to take some of the enemies out, but we don't want to be doing it extensively because the more we take out from here, the more that will spawn further back. Now, that knight is beyond me to be able to hit accurately, but what I can do is fire an arrow in his vicinity. And this is in the hope of getting him either his attention or drawing him to the edge. Now, he doesn't seem to want to play either, which is good news for us. Come on now. Fucking sort it out. Do it properly. Oh, there you go. Got him. So yeah, I should talk about that really, shouldn't I? I found out how, as you guys have seen from my Roots video, I found out exactly how to make knights throw axes behind them. And strangely enough, it's just the shield ones that you can make do it. So, dodging axes. Shouldn't need to go into this because it shouldn't be too much of a problem. With everything that I've just shown you previously, you should never, he says, get hit by axes. They should be reasonably easy blocks. But one of the things that I always make a point of, standing, I always move into them. The reason why I move into them is because if you try and move away from them, it's more difficult to predict the curve, whereas that's coming, if I move away, that's still curving towards me, and that can really put you off. Whereas, and I do this with most things that curve in this game, if I move into it, even that was fucking risky, but if I move into it, it's then curving away from me, so I know I'm safe. Why is that important? Because once I know I'm safe, I can carry on doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'll move into it, carry on taking my shots, knowing that it ain't coming anywhere near me. This is just the way that I do it. That one, we've run out of real estate, so we're going to kind of have to move out of the way of. Knights do, their axes do seem to curve more at higher cycles, I find. And they seem to be more homing. But I'll always try and move away from the arc. It just stops me getting confused more than anything else. Same is true with fireball attacks and other attacks that home. Banshee ones, you ain't getting out of the way of them. You have to either block them or run. So, that's death over there. We've taken out a few bits and pieces. These things are way beyond my range right now. So we got two options. We can either, because we don't want to go across there, we can either go up there, which is going to be not too bad. Now, my experience tells me that there's a lot of things up to the right of there. But if we can get in the little doorway, we should be fine. Again, don't need to be amazingly accurate here because the game will kind of tell us when we're hitting somewhere, when we're aiming at something that we can shoot at. That's not being amazing. I'll have to get a bit closer. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and find a landing spot. There's one. Oh no, that's below. Damn. Nope. Tell you what, I think my left vibrational things... I thought this might be a problem. I can't teleport far enough. What about up here? Nope. Okay, so what happens if you can't make the teleport arrow that you want to make? Well, then you have to change it into shorter bounds. We want to try and go up there. And I'm going to have to do something I don't think I've had to do for a very long time. We're going to have to halfway house it. We're going to have to go here, which can create other problems. Now, they may have seen us. Nope, they're out of visual range. Now, we want to lure these in, ideally, one at a time. Slow motion button ready. Come on. Here you are. So this is another thing that I was talking about the other day, is enemies will either teleport or move to you. I think it's quite random, but they are more inclined to move towards you if you are not that far away. Hello, Liz. Oh, look at that. What a shot. So, as I said, I wouldn't normally choose this route, but it's actually not a bad one. This is actually probably a safer play than what I would go for, and right now, safe plays are quite good. This isn't a bad angle, but the fact that there's more cupids here makes it, like I was thinking, ooh, yeah, that's a good shot, isn't it? Because I could shoot him, probably won't alert that one, and we'd be good. There's more. There's always fucking more. So, we're not going to take that shot. So, next thing on the agenda, those knights aren't going to be able to do a lot. That Banshee might make us. Hey, remember what I was saying about Banshees teleporting back into the game all the time from all over the place? Note how she's doing quite a lot of patrolling. She's moving around the place. And what I think happens is they do that whether they're spawned or not and drop off of the level. Hence why I could go back and probably find a Banshee that definitely wasn't there. So, Banshee could be a bit of a problem. Those knights probably aren't going to be. And again, using, hopefully, the same technique that I showed you. Oh, we've got the Banshee's attention. Give her a little bit of space. Just a little bit. Ready on that slow time? You coming, love? I know this is enough space. I know you like this. Come on. Nope. Lost interest. So now that we can, now that we know that we are in range to get her attention. Okay, the knight wants some. So what I was saying about reducing your hitbox so that knights don't shoot axes at you, you can do the same with a vertical piece of cover. If I step out far enough, he might not want any of it. I think he's got himself. I think you got yourself in a bit of bother there, mate. It's become one with the wall. Good news for us. Good news for us. Fantastic. God damn it. Look how he struggles with bow and arrow technology. Yes. Yes. Oh. 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 Cover that in a minute. Right. Let's get this Banshee. So I'm going to fire an arrow up there. Off far to the right. Did see the wings of that as well just then. Which is why these blind firing arrows to lure can be a difficult prospect, because thankfully I caught sight of that Cupid between this pinnacle and the back bit there. Firing arrows to lure, this is one of the problems that you can have. It is always much safer to visually lure, but we're now quite certain that it's just her up there. And whilst we are luring with arrows, there's nothing to stop us actually trying to hit them. And we've got your attention as well. You're not going to throw axes, are you? I was going to show everyone. Anyway, rest assured, if you are in a position where they can throw axes at you and you have some cover, the whole getting yourself too close to the cover and firing your shots from here will again stop them throwing axes, because, as we know, they're on a budget with these things. They won't waste axes, not if they don't have to. Yes, look at that. Now, we do need that blood of the lamb. These dark oranges denote that we need that life. I will pick that up, and there's a good reason for it. When you get further into the game, you get to the point where there becomes up to a 30% chance that that blood of the lamb will heal us for 2 blocks of life. So, if you see a blood of the lamb and you only need to heal for 1 and you have that achievement unlocked, do not pick it up until either the level has ended or you take another point of damage. Because if I pick this up and it was a 2, happy days. If I had... So at this point now, I would not pick up any more bloods of the lamb. Now, we should be okay with dealing with that guy, and it shouldn't alert the one below. And then we're going to creep out a little bit more. Now, there is one far left, but that's not close enough to alert. God, my positioning on the bow is fucking horrendous. So, and we're now going to creep across and deal with each of these. We're going to make sure that we can't see that one, so he can't make visuals on us. And clattering these arrows into the wall should not alert him. But there is a possibility there could be ones around the corner that would get alerted by it, because they have to be in line of sight of the point of impact for it to alert them also. Para exemplar, if I fire this shot here, he can't see where that's landed, and ergo he can't hear it. If I was to fire it into the crenellations in front of him, he can see that and he can hear it, and then he will come and start firing at us. Ooh. Slow-mo time. See where he comes. 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 1,000. Now, note how I was an idiot and looked around, and it gave him more real estate to teleport into. It's very much a practiced skill in that if you keep your gaze bolted, to a certain space, then a lot of the time it gives the enemy no other option. It's when you do those little glances and then turn back again, that enemy then decides, oh cool, I'll teleport behind him then. Or I'll teleport where he was looking. I was looking over there. They can even select that teleport site, or this is the way I think it works. I don't know. It seems right. They select where they're going to teleport, and then they may teleport to it at a later date. It doesn't have to be instant. So, that was reasonably successful. This is the stupidest way I've ever done this, but this is probably how I used to do it when I was beginning, so it's all of a sudden become a great way to do it. So we've cleared out quite a nice area here. We know that we are reasonably clear up here as well. Creak of a bow, run, get to cover. Ready on the slow time. I'm not going to go back out and investigate that because I have no idea where it came from. Well, I kind of do because I heard it and it's up there. Now, ooh, that was the wrong arrow. Teleport arrows will take out enemies. They do a lot less damage. They are a heavy arrow. This was all part of the example, honestly. You don't want to be using teleport arrows to take out enemies. There's one very important reason. When you get to the later stages of this game, you score 0 for a teleport arrow kill. But you should also not be using your teleport arrows to kill things, especially in the pits. What idiot does that? Doesn't get you any points. And when you hit things with your teleport arrows, if they are on the ground, you will teleport into them. And we don't want that either. So, 2 options at this point. Now we are reasonably clear. Again, we're going to check the outsides and see if there's anything else that we can lure in. Yes, unless you're being abused by chat. Quite right, Katie. So there's nothing round that corner. Still horrible. There's nothing round that corner. These little things are great for teleporting up onto. Again, aiming at them, if you get the vibration... If you get the vibration, it usually tells you... Well, sometimes. You get a feel for it. Oh, yeah, why not? Yeah. Fucking accuracy. Come on. It's usually a little bit lower than that. These are great. They do leave you exposed, but they can give you some decent angles on enemies that you wouldn't normally see. They can also make your teleport arrows a lot easier to make and a lot more accurate because they are either shorter or you can see them. Again, one of the big problems with Paradise Lost is you find yourself having to teleport to areas that you can't scope out first. I don't want to teleport into that mess because I don't really know what's up there. Now I can see that there's nothing on that landing, but we do have to be careful about what's there. So there's 2 options that we have now that we're on our little pinnacle. I would say we either go right up on top of the roof, which is probably our safest bet, or we go in there for a little bit of action. Now, I don't think there's going to be any enemies on there. The reason why that's a little bit more risky is these enemies up here might get alerted to us over there. So, you know what, actually, let's play it safe. And we'll deposit ourselves very nicely onto this roof. So again, making use of locomotion. If you don't have to teleport and you're doing minute adjustments, why bother? Now, that's not a good shot. Why? Because there's going to be shitloads of stuff in there. So, no thanks. We're not taking that shot. These are not good shots. Now, that's more like it. And how could we deal with that? Well, it just so happens that we know a way. And combined with our supreme accuracy. Now, the one thing that I will say about this whole crenellation thing is, as you hit them, and not kill them, they stagger backwards. That then exposes more of their hitbox to them, more of your hitbox to them, making them more likely to throw an axe. So after you hit and they stagger back, adjust. Move back a little bit more. Fucking contraption. Don't be afraid to go on your tiptoes. Yes! Oh, quiver. So, that's another thing. Now, I'm not using special arrows, but if I was, and I had, let's call it a crutch arrow, because that's what it would be. Let's say I had something like Tempest or Divine Sight or something along those lines. If I saw that and I only had one of my arrows that I would consider a crutch arrow, and I'd used some of it, I then almost consider myself, this is not on a scoring point either, but I then, like, I could consider myself weapons free now on the Cataclysm, and just make use of that to just make the clearing of all of this a lot easier. I mean, it's Cataclysm, so it wouldn't really do a great job. But let's say that was like Divine Sight 3 or something, I can now go, cool, well, wang off a load of Divine Sight 3s, do a lot of work for me, and then pick up the quiver and put it in. The flip side to that is leave that quiver until you have completed the level and top all of your arrows up, the ones that you are using as your mainstay arrows. That comes with time. You want to use your special arrows at this point. Now, we've dealt with a few bits and pieces here. Still don't like that, still don't like that. Couple of options from here now. We have cleared a bit of a safe space here, so we could go down there. However, I like in that little cubby hole over there. There is usually a Cupid in there. So be ready on the slow time. Now see how I was tapping that? I was tapping that whilst the... Oh, hello. I was tapping that whilst the arrow was in flight. And the reason being, and again, this is something that I've covered previously, and this gives us a better angle. Hello? This gives us a much better angle on everything that's going on around here. Now, I've heard a scream, so I'm going to come far enough back that if she wants to, she can teleport up here. Because I'd much rather deal with her in a tight, confined space and no other problems than not. Where are you? You down here? No, it's clear. No, it's not clear. So that's something that I started talking about and didn't finish. When you hear the shot of a Cupid, much like with thunder and lightning, you can guesstimate how far away your adversary is, because those arrows are very slow. But you can estimate how far away your adversary is based on what I would call the flash to bang time, or the shot sound to the impact sound. If you hear that brr and then count to a couple of seconds, you know that that Cupid is really far away. Why is that important? Because if the Cupid is really far away, they are much more likely to teleport down your throat than they are to fly towards you. It's the ones that are just round the corner, just down here, just round there, that will float in. So yeah. Now, teleporting and slow time. Every time you land anywhere, even if it's not risky, you should be making use of teleport. No, we'll have your lunch first. Fire the arrow so that she can see it. Give her space to teleport in. She'll oblige us. Lovely. Easy kill. So with the slow time side of things, watch what I do here. So I aim my teleport arrow, fire, and I tap. And the reason why I tap is so that as I land, I can then hold as soon as I get here. The reason why I do that is if I teleport... Uh-oh. Hello? Party over here. See, this is abnormal game behavior. They shouldn't just spawn in. These should be wandering around here because they are very close to me. But I also think there is a problem with their spawn prioritization or something along those lines. Anyway, so on with what I was talking about as far as teleporting. Aim your teleport arrow, and we want to land in slow time. If we hold it, when the teleport arrow completes... Oh, that's actually attracted some attention. Lovely. When the teleport arrow completes, it will take us out of slow time. Which is why anybody that you see, whenever I'm doing rooftop hopping, I do that and then hold it as soon as I land. I tap it whilst it's getting there, and then I hold it once I've completed the teleport. If you are holding it whilst you teleport, it will take you out of slow time. Do know that, because I think a lot of people, again, don't realise the power that you have when you are moving about. That is a nasty place to go. We're going back into our hole. Shouldn't have wandered around that corner, really. That was very stupid. But it does serve a purpose. We have got... So, again, the purposes of having and knowing where your safe space is. Now, can I get him to do it this time? Ooh, creak of a bow. So I think that's one of the ones that's in that archway. So we're going to wait here. No worries, Vega. No worries, dude. I think a lot of this is beyond you anyway, so... No worries, Vega. Let's see if... So what I'm going to try and do is try and demonstrate the whole cover thing. I was waiting for you. Didn't want to pick that up. Just broke my rule then. So he can throw axes at us here. Put a bit of cover at the side, so we know if we step out, he'll go into axe throwing mode. If we step back in, just avoid this, and then slightly. No worries, dude. Most appreciated. So we've got this cover now. Notice how we've obviously covered enough of our hitbox that budget cuts say we can't throw axes, boys. But we're not paying by the arrow. So we'll nail this guy. Easy shots. Fucking hell. Come on now. You can do it. Nope, not that time. Oh, you missed that one. Try another. There we go. Now, the reason why I think this whole cover thing, either from above to below, or the cover side of things, is there is then zero threat to you other than things around you, which if you're clearing things and making use of your slow time, shouldn't become an issue. What it does allow you to start doing is practicing these shots. So, like, for instance, I'm starting to expand the range at which I can now hit, and I'd like to think that my headshot in at a very short distance is getting a little bit better, but that's because I'm doing it more, and I'm also making sure I'm doing it more in an environment where I'm not threatened in. Get good at doing a thing when you are not under pressure, and then a lot of those skills will translate to when you are under pressure. Like, for instance, this is why I think and hate the fact that runner is probably going, because learning to play runner and all that speed, well, there's no threat to you. You haven't got a game to lose, a score to capsize, a save to destroy, progress to fuck up. But what you can do is you can practice being fast in reasonably safe environments, and then you have an ability to use it if you need it. And again, note how I'm doing everything one at a time, because my ability to kill things. And we've completely cleared this room now. Now, as far as this guy's concerned, I will make use of this. Note how it doesn't work with archers. They don't care. They've got arrows to burn. Damn it. But look at these shots as well. Now, those ones weren't aimed at me. That's not to say that some of them won't be. That one kind of was. You shit, mate. Come on, show us an accurate shot. Well, that one definitely was. That had our name on it. So they won't always fire shots. Try and demonstrate. That one did. Try and demonstrate. They won't always fire shots that are actually at you. Like, that wasn't fired at me. Neither was the other one. Garbage. Who taught you to shoot? Left-handed silver-tongued devil? That's how you shoot. But yeah, this is the reason why Cupids are a very difficult prospect. Not because they're accurate, but because of their weight of fire and their rate of fire. And it's slower. I would much rather have an arrow coming at me accurately and fast, because that can be enough to get out of the way of it. Whereas with Cupids, they fire all over the fucking show. It's just harder to predict where these things are going. Now, we have cleared a lot of that side. Let's have a little peek. That's looking nasty. Don't want any of that. Let's bring this guy out. So just look where you want them to go. Try not to look anywhere else. I'm ready on that slow time button. Even tap it with the intention of, if something happens, you then hold it. Because it just gives you more time to react. Just in case this guy does go behind me. Oh, I heard him teleport. Little prick. So as I said, they can go behind you. And I think a lot of the reason why they do that, I think that's more or less a Cupid thing. More often than not, they will try and teleport in front of you. But I think what happens with Cupids is, if you don't present them with enough, they'll go somewhere else. So, as a general rule, it works. Any more? Ooh. A shot down there is going to, if I don't hit it, is going to alert them both. She's gone round the corner. So what we could do, close the distance, take our shot. Now, this is another thing. That arrow hit and didn't alert her the first time. An arrow hitting something, as long as the... So you remember I was explaining where if the arrow hits something in there, the line of sight isn't a really good description. It's almost like a sphere of influence, because sometimes they don't have to be looking. So there we are. Thought you might come eventually. Oh, you're firing blanks, love. They do that from time to time as well. I have no idea why, the rhyme or the reason behind it, but they will not cast anything sometimes. With that Cupid, we didn't alert the Banshee off to the right because we didn't miss. The first shot clattered against the wall. The second shot actually hit the Cupid. Because the Banshee was round there, she didn't have it within her sphere of influence, so it didn't alert her. This is another reason why accuracy can come into its own. Are you not interested? You're not. We'll take advantage of that. We'll take advantage of that. Yes! Oh, headshot as well. Look at that. Accuracy. So, lots of guys up there. We don't want to alert them yet. We're not going to be able to... We might be able to visually pull the Banshee down in a minute. We'll try. First off, pick one of the corners and clear it. We know from earlier that there was something on this platform. And again, if we can break down these distances and get nice and close, it just makes things a lot bloody easier. Same again, other side now. And even if needs be, step out ready with an arrow ready, just in case there was something out there. We did clear up the top there. Now, that's a lot of knights. I'm not going to go up there and fight them. Why would I? There's also a teleporter, so we've got two options here. we can either get to the edge of this platform to try and get rid of the things that will teleport towards us, but we want to give ourselves a decent fighting arena for them to come to us. The other thing that we could do is we could wang an arrow up there and turn around. And hopefully that'll look something like this. Fire the arrow, alert all of those. Banshee's real estate is in front of us. Could walk away as well, most likely. Oh, yeah, let's walk away. Oh, they're firing. That wasn't a very good example. You can fire and turn to somewhere else, but it is usually best to completely break line of sight when you do that. That wasn't a very good example. Yeah. So, I'm not going up there. Why would I? It doesn't matter how good a shot I am. I can take all of these guys out from a silly distance. Do note that there is a distance that knights will stop throwing axes at. And it kind of goes hand in hand with the sort of distance that you score very nicely at you. Hello, Tenros. Yeah, the monks will shoot you in the back. They're one of the few. But again, the reason why that works is because of what I believe is like a sheet of a hitbox at the front of you. This is why we can walk away from melee enemies and they can't hit us. So this is beyond my right-handed, left-handed skills. So we're going to have to close that distance. No worries, dude. Hello, Mr. Maintenance Man. So we're going to close the distance. There you go. Easy. Easy. Forget about those first few shots. Easy shots. Okay, so again, as I said, so that's something to practice. A lot of what I'm talking about as far as practicing good technique with the bow, I'm not going to employ. I highly recommend you do, but I'm not planning on getting good left-handed. But if you are struggling with what is your normal and natural hand, these are the techniques that you should be practicing. Don't worry about it. I got it. I put one up earlier anyway, so it's fine. But thank you for thinking of me anyway. So there we go. Paradise Lost Zone 1 complete. There's going to be a fucking orphan in here and you're going to expect me to try and nail it. Orphans are a difficult prospect in Paradise Lost at the best of times. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to show you how to pick this apart. Come on, be Wrath of God in here. Okay, so here's another thing. Taking stock of what we've got and how loose that allows us to play. There are 2 Bloods of the Lamb in here, which means that we now know that we can kind of take 2 hits and not have to worry too much. We want to try and stay at maximum health. We have got armor though, so we don't ideally want to be taking any hits, because armor's awesome and very rare. Unless you are in cycle 5+, armor's just an extra life. Armor's just an extra life. No, quite right, Sean. Now, first thing is identification. I know, right? I reckon we're going to be able to get Paradise Lost completed by the end of the stream. Wowzers. Right, so, okay, here's another thing that I do a lot of, and I've just done it now. When you've got time to, reorientate yourself within your play space. One of the things that I've talked about is tracking, and how I have within my play space, I have a little mat on the floor that I keep my front toes on. Got my slippers on at the moment. Shouldn't have my slippers on, it's not that cold. Have my toes on my little play mat so that I know where front is. As you are playing, you will get turned around. When you've got time to break, recenter yourself. Even use the Oculus button to do it as well. It's the only time I actually use snap turn. The rest of the time I turn in the real world, because I think I'm faster in the real world than I can definitely do it in snap turning. The reason why I always orientate to front myself as well is in my play space, if this is my wall, I actually have like a metal poster here, which is, I've read somewhere that having a blank wall in front of you is not as good as having your wall in front of you with like a poster on it or something. It gives basically, instead of a big solid colour to the cameras to detect, it gives your cameras something to pick up on within that big space. And apparently it helps. Again, should do a video on this, but I can't really identify exactly what is the best thing to do and the best thing that you should do as far as your tracking is concerned. So I do it all. Okay, there is our Cupid. Now, the Cupid hasn't actually been alerted. And the reason being is because we are, yeah, quite right, Ken. We are too far away from her at the moment. But the moment we start wanging arrows downrange, she will get the scent. Now, what we're going to attempt to do here might work. Don't know. I'm going to try and avoid her. I don't think we're going to be able to. I've got two options. I can go real high, clear out the rest of the level and come back down. I don't know. I don't even think I can make that shot. So we are probably going to have to crash in there and try and take her out. This could be risky. This could be our death. Now, is there another way? Yes, there is. We'll go low. Make sure that she hasn't been alerted. We are using slow time at the moment, and like a coiled mongoose, I am ready to spring at a moment's notice. I mean, it might take me a few seconds. I'm ready to spring at her, but we haven't alerted her yet. Yes, no, that's a very good one, Al, actually. I kind of do it subconsciously myself. Keeping the cameras clean is a very big one. 1.5 volt batteries, if you can get hold of them, is another important one I find. Now that knight's got our number and he's probably going to come all the way around. Come round? Yeah, you are. Hello. Bit of cornering. Has to come round this before he can turn and engage on us. We'll make use of it. Thanks very much. But yeah, clean cameras, 1.5 volt batteries in the controllers, not wearing a watch. I don't think I've ever heard anybody tell me that one until I tried doing a hand tracking game a long time ago called Rogue Ascent, or not a long time ago, but wearing my watch completely through that. Why? Because it gives you a mirrored surface on your wrist, and if you turn your hand over, it catches it. Good lighting, very important. Cleared play space without screens or mirrors is also another big one as well, but I think everyone's aware of that one. This is still going to be a very difficult concept because if we teleport up there, she's likely to see us. Now, there is a way around that, but it requires making multiple quick teleports. Now, is this a good thing to teach? I don't think it is a good thing to teach. But if we teleported up there and she does get wind of it, if we can teleport to an area with lots of enemies very quickly, because of the rule of 17, she will despawn, which will stop us losing her. I don't think that is a great strategy for taking out the orphan. That is a fuck, she's running, get away sort of strategy. And even then, that's not good either. This one is actually going to be really difficult to pick apart, but we might be able to... No, that's open, isn't it? No, it's not. Okay. Let's try this. Let's go up here, kill you, see if that's been noticed. What I'm waiting for here is to hear... Camille says that they change noise when they've alerted you. I've never heard it myself, but he might be right. But it might be because they orientate away from you. Well, there's another one. Let's look here and hopefully give him enough real estate to teleport into. But we're using our slow time just in case he decides to shoot. Red ones don't like teleporting, I find. They like to stay at a distance from you. What are you going to do? Nope. Lost interest. Now, if we can land our teleport arrow... Yeah, we could go up there. That would be a shout. Oh, hello. Shit. Come on. Teleport in. You're not going to, are you? Also note how I'm leaning my head away to try and stay out of his line of sight where his arrows are coming in. That's a thing. I reckon I'm going to go up there. But... will she see us? Okay, so... let's make use of these. That is a difficult teleport arrow shot. This... ooh, might be a bit easier. We'll go there. And then... we're going to go across to there and hope that that's far enough. And then get in here. Look at this taffy pulling. Now, she's actually despawned because there's a lot of enemies around us. We'll take it. Now, the reason why I got up before... damn it. Are you talking about where we are now? I assume you are. We know where she is, but she's despawned now. Which then means that we can start clearing out the rest of the level and almost come back and do her last. This is actually a really good technique. This is a good way to do orphans. So what we're going to do is we're going to... she's despawned, but there's still enemies around her location that haven't. Because she's despawned, she can't... excuse me. Because she's despawned, she can't be alerted. We can take advantage of that factor by luring enemies that are around her from her to us without her coming back into the game and being alerted. You do have to be careful with this though, because any enemy that you kill could force her to spawn back in. Okay. Don't know if I've ever taken that or not. There might be a reason why. I'll have a look in a moment. But we're going to deal with what we can. We're going to try and get a bit of a wiggle on because we've got plenty of life, so it doesn't matter if we get hit here. Step out. Shoot. No. Have another one. Another one maybe. Step back in, just in case. They weren't anywhere near us. Now, I think he teleported there because these are in the way of where they want to teleport to. And so it's almost like... with Cupids, more often than not, they will teleport into you. Or onto you or into your face. But if there's a lot of structure in the level... I know, right? I haven't been practicing or anything, honest. Oh, look at that. Amazing. Again, I didn't look there before they started teleporting, but you could argue that peripheries-wise, as I was stood here doing that, that was in. But I think it's more likely with the fact that they want to teleport here, but they can't because of those. So it almost shunts them across. They can't teleport here because there's a wall, and they can't teleport that way because it would be completely out of my line of sight and behind another wall. So he's coming here, but I think it's probably more to do with the peripheries side of things. Right. On. No thank you. I'm not dealing with three here. Get back into a corner. We'll look here and we'll slow time. Now those are areas that I was looking at a second ago. As I came round the corner, I would have given them areas to teleport into. It's very difficult not to be fair. But this is how you kind of have to do it because I have not got the ability or accuracy to deal with these situations other than slowly. Easy. Now you'll also see, now we've still got to remember that there is an orphan down there. And we want to make sure that we don't go anywhere near her. Now, another thing that I used to like doing in Paradise Lost, but now it doesn't really make too much odds, is taking a level from top to bottom. Now, that doesn't mean rooftop hop to that point. What I would say is fight through to a point where you can get to the top. So you're still eliminating enemies on the way. But fighting down is a lot easier than fighting up for multiple reasons, which I'll explain. Now, what this bit over here? This bit. Yeah, this is an entrance, but for where the orphan was, we'd struggle to get across that side. Now, again, we're going to make use of these little pinnacles, but only when we know there's nothing that can nail us whilst we're up there. Or if we're not too sure, we get up there with the intent of getting straight back down again if things do spawn in, which they did. So we'll deal with them first before we start fanning about up there. Have you despawned? Yes, you have. Okay, so we know that that's going to be a bit more riskier than I thought it was going to be. Oh, you have teleported in. Where have you gone? Ugh. Using your slow time, you will be able to see if they do that teleporting around you, which they will. If they haven't got a clear shot and you move, they will then sometimes teleport to track you. Making use of your slow time, or at the very least looking for that little vapor trail that they leave behind them, should tell you where they're going, approximately. Wow, that was my own bowstring that I just ran away from. Okay, but again, always run away from the sound cues. So, we're going to try this again. We need to take you out, really. Yes. Let's get into that. Let's get deep onto this corner. And right close onto you. Ah. Now, this is one of those risky situations where we want to maneuver ourselves. I haven't actually done this. This isn't a bad shout. This is, again, part of the reason why Paradise Lost can be difficult. Because you can be teleporting into danger and not see any of it coming. And also things can teleport in at the last minute just because of the sheer weight of enemies. I have maneuvered myself from a bad position where I'm really exposed to the closest bit of cover. Where's that? Oh, over there. Hello. And if I didn't have... Nice jump. If I didn't have these, then I probably would have got down here. But even that's not great cover. The better shout would have been to teleport back down and not try and fight my way out of it. But this is because I'm getting a little bit more experienced. Left-handed, possibly. So, cleared out a little bit of a balcony here. We could fight our way into this, but I think this might be a better shout for our lack of accuracy. So we're going to go all the way to the top and fight our way down. Now, why is fighting down a better prospect than fighting up? If we are fighting down, we can more or less see exactly what we are fighting or what we are teleporting down into. So we eliminate the problem that we just had in my classic example that was completely planned. In addition to that as well, if you can just see the head and the body, then there's more chance that you'll be able to hit those headshots. Whereas if they're coming straight at you, and they're going to be a lot of the time standing still unless they're teleporters, it's going to be easier to hit those shots. In addition, what do we know that we can use when we're above them and they're below us? We can use these crenellations and we can use these bits and pieces to assist us. I'm just going to wait up here because I think I've alerted more than I thought. But again, still using that slow time, probably not as much as I should have been. Now, is that a good shot? Not at all, because we don't know what's down there, so I wouldn't take that. Ooh. Be careful, because I almost come a cropper of that. No, there's not. There is not a separate leaderboard. If only there was, I'm sure I would be last. We're probably going to have to deal with you. Not ideal. And duck. Those do home in on you. If I stand here, they will home in for my face if given half a chance. If I can drop level and drop my face behind something, we can avoid them completely. They'll just crash into the scenery. Again, another good reason for fighting above. What I was saying is, be careful of these peaks if you rely on locomotion like I do. That peak will not let me go past it. This bit of crenellation will. Some peaks let you go up and over, others don't. Be aware of those and test these areas before you start fighting from them. It's part of the reason why I'm not a massive fan of fighting from these. I'd want to create a safe space below and then start dealing. Yeah. Damn it. Damn. Lots of them. What should we do here? We should probably just teleport away. But, well, we've got to crack on, haven't we? And we also know that we can play it a little bit more risky because we've lost that holy armor. We have got Blood of the Lambs in there. There is going to be another one for Gabe. So, top to bottom. Now, this is the only problem with doing it top to bottom, is there is a strong likelihood that you will alert things that you don't see. So again, muchos abuse of slow time. Notice how I'm still tapping it until I'm ready. We'll take that shot because it's the only enemy here. This isn't a great area. This becomes a bit riskier as long as we hit our shots. Oh, well, that makes Gabe easy, doesn't it? Crutch arrow locked in. So why do I say crutch arrow on Tempest? To anybody who has Tempest, it's one of the first few arrows that you unlock. To begin with, you don't think it's all that. As you start playing the game, you find that Tempest is a fantastic little arrow. But ultimately, remember, it will be something that you will leave behind. Sean can quite happily attest to this. Now, again, try not to get into these long-range duels. I'm quite happy that I know that I can dodge that all day just using the locomotion. At cycle 1, the Red Monk's arrow goes straight and exactly where either one of two things, where you are or where you're going, depending on what you are doing with the locomotion stick. This is another reason why Cupids can be a bit of a difficult prospect, because they don't behave the same way that everything else does. Now, we're probably alerting way too much because I'm trying to get through things here. But it's kind of worked out because we know that we're safe up here. The time to not alert all of this shit is when we've still got things to clear out. I know, right? Easy. Well, we'll have you as well then. Ugh. Right, let's wait, see what you do. Slow time, slow time, slow time. Come on. There you are. Now I'm holding it. Draw my shot and loose. Now, because we've got Tempest, it might make the Orphan a little bit easier a prospect to take out. But that, again, as I said, I don't want to rely on special arrows. I might use it as a bit of an oh shit moment. Because what Tempest is another good arrow to do is to just get a hit on the Orphan while she is teleporting away. If you can hit her while she is teleporting away, she has to first run and then reinitiate her teleport. Tempest is great for that because you just basically have a bigger hitbox or a bigger spread to work with. Woo! Getting really good at this left-handed now. You wait, I'm going to get fed that my own words in a minute. So, see, like, these shots here are fantastic for Tempest. You can get 2-for-1s and 3-for-1s with a single Tempest here. Yeah, Tempest becomes very, becomes obsolete quite quickly. It's a very, it's a very good arrow for Gabriel and a great way of beating him. Now, because it's an arrow, can we make this shot? Yeah, all day, easy. If anything, too easy. Yes. Tempest is a great arrow until it's not. Like most arrows in this game, unfortunately. Even Divine Sight, like ×3 and ×5, have their uses, but it just gets less and less and less the more you play and the further you get. Does that mean you shouldn't play with those arrows as part of your journey? Definitely not. Use those arrows. They are fun to use, they are helpful, and they put a band-aid or a bit of a plaster over parts of your game that are lacking. Why do people like Tempest? Because it does the job of range for them. I can probably not hit that guy there with a normal arrow, because I have to nail quite a small target at quite a large distance. With a Tempest, I would be quite happy that I can do it quite easily, as I did. But we don't want to use that if we can help it. Now, again, Tempest is a bit of a double-edged sword on this level, because that rail shot goes through scenery, through the level, through a lot of things, and can alert a lot of things. So again, you got to be careful. This is another reason why top-down, again, Tempest is an arrow that you would associate with Paradise Lost, and top-down is an easier prospect. What time are we on? Quite right. Yeah, it can kill multiple enemies. So, let's... It makes, like, something like this, it makes it a lot quicker, a lot easier, and we don't have to spend too much time dicking around. And because it makes it quicker and easier, we also... No worries, Shazam. Glad you could make it. I'm currently explaining why Tempest is great until it's shit. But the big point is, use these arrows. I call them crutch arrows, but not in... Or I shouldn't use the word crutch because it's derogatory. But you do need... they're like training wheel arrows. And I don't know, if you don't like wearing training wheels or having training wheels, then, I don't know, call them something, some sort of aid to memoir or some sort of training or something along those lines. But, you know, we all learnt to ride bikes, or the vast majority of human beings would have learnt to ride bikes with training wheels at some stage that then get removed because you don't need them. Think of some of these special arrows that you find particularly useful as that. Curse of God is another one. Tempest, Curse of God, Pestilence. These are all great arrows for this level. It does. It keeps you healthy, which allows you to get further, which then allows you to learn more. That was a bad shot, Ripley. Alright, let's just lure them one at a time. Hey. I said one at a time. And again, I'd like to think that these are not particularly dangerous shots. We still have our hand over our slow motion. These aren't particularly dangerous shots. They're not particularly difficult shots. Hell, I'm fucking doing them left-handed, nailing them each time. First time, 60% of the time, every time. So, but again, we are fighting from a reasonably safe space. Should actually make sure That is another thing. That is a very good point, Al. Just because you stop using them doesn't mean you stop ever using them ever again. It's one of the reasons why I fucking love Fletcher, because you actually get to use, or you are forced to use, all of those arrows that are kind of garbage now, which is great. I like these special arrows in this game. The problem is it doesn't pay to use them, because the other problem that you have with Tempests as well is, well, you can get headshots with Tempests, but if you are aiming off to get headshots with Tempests, you might as well be using normal arrows. And why are we trying to get headshots? Because points. Now, we shouldn't alert those two whilst taking this knight out. Note how we have this top-down angle. He can't see a lot of our hitbox. We can see him, so he's not returning fire, getting alerted, or chucking axes at us whilst we just have our way with him. Another problem out of the way. Now, this is a bit of a risky one, but I would like to get rid of this monk. So I'm going to sail over. I'm just going to try and hit it, and I'm going to look this way to try and force him to teleport into my line of sight. And the reason why that one, they don't always do it first time, the red monks. They can be a little bit finicky. The reason why that one worked so well and so quickly... You will. The reason why that worked so well is because that was literally, that is the only place that he could teleport to. They're not inclined to go onto roofs. I don't think they're valid teleport locations. There are spots, because they will do it, but not often. Nothing down here he could teleport into. Nothing out here. I mean, he could teleport down, but that would be out of my line of sight. So he's kind of forced to teleport there. We've given him the real estate, because there's enough distance between us and his little landing zone, hence why he came straight in. I find if you can do that more often than not, they'll take the bait. Now, two of these at the same time is a bit of a difficult prospect, but it's about as good a one as we're going to get, because we do need to start heading down. So, we'll tuck ourselves in nice and neat to the corner. We will eliminate one from the proceedings by stepping across, and we'll just shoot the one here. Now, why are we avoiding the other one? Because if we can't see him, he can't see us. If he can't see us, he can't fire at us accurately. And using slow time... Quite right. Quite right, Ken. Using slow time, if they are going to teleport or slowly move in, and then we can wait. This wall actually saved my bacon, because I floundered with the shield a little bit here. And again, it's good use of cover. Set yourself up for these things, and they will help you out. Don't want to worry about those two yet, because they're really far away. That one in the middle is looking like a good prospect. That one at the bottom, there could be things below that will end up alerting. Don't really care about alerting the knight, so let's try and have this guy. Got him. Now, again, still risky, because there's still things around that I could have alerted with that arrow. So we'll take a minute, use our slow time. I don't think there was, but you never can be too sure. And again, if this is your first time through Paradise Lost, patience. There's a reason why LG gets to the top of a lot of leaderboards. Atlas Rise, if you see him on any of them. And it's because his patience is incredible. He's more I consider myself very patient. Not in this game, but his patience is amazing. We're starting to get left with less and less prospects, so we're going to have to start going for certain things. I don't want to hit that Cupid, but the likelihood is there isn't going to be anything spawned down below. So let's nail the sucker. With the intent of retreating back into cover if we fucked it up. One thing to note, should again never mention this, a lot of these crenellations that you stand on, you can stand on and maneuver. You can walk off them. You can't usually walk, and then it does. If you walk far enough off of them, a lot of the time you can't get back up. Oh, actually, I think it might be to do with being in the middle. As a general rule, because it's not reliable, think of it along the lines of you can be on them, maneuver around them, take your shots, move off of them when return fire comes in, and then that's when you go back into the waiting game of using your slow time to lure things in. What's next on the agenda? So we've cleared a lot of that out there. There is a lot of trouble through all of this. It's not an amazing place to fight, but there's not a lot left in the ways of cupids around here. There will be cupids down here, but thankfully we can take them one at a time. Great use of cover here. Should be using my slow time. Yeah, that's something we can cover. Because I'm not. We'll have a look around. Okay, we've alerted that guy whilst trying to get into position for that one. So let's take it one at a time. Damn it. So, note with this guy. Oh, actually, no, he works a little bit differently. As long as you are strafing at these cycles, these guys can fire very... Yes, definitely. That's a very good point, Al. This red monk cannot hit me. The reason being is because I'm using locomotion. He has to shoot his arrow where I was when he's shooting. Other archers will do it a little bit differently, in that if you are moving, they will anticipate where you are moving to. If you are stood stock still, they will shoot at where you are. Now again, this is why part of the reason why cupids are a difficult prospect, because they don't follow that rule. The red monk's a little bit different. In later cycles, that red monk can be so fucking fast with those shots that you can't dodge out of the way of it with locomotion. Woo! Headshot. Lovely. Never thought I'd be celebrating one of those. That was a really bad teleport arrow. So, here, we want to be clearing the outside, I would say, first, which we've cleared a lot of this when we came up here. Clearing the inside track and making sure we check all around all these corners before we commit to dropping down a level. And when we do drop down a level, drop far away from this middle bit. If you drop down to, say, here, then enemies can see you straight away, get alerted, and they'll have you before you can have them. Well, that's alerted some. Because if you jump into a situation where then you're having to start throwing arrows, that's when this situation happens, where things start teleporting in because you haven't measured your shots. I just fired a shot down there, not thinking about what was below. Yes, yeah, we covered that earlier. Cataclysm does as well. The explosions for Cataclysm, it goes through walls and floors also. So what we're doing here is we're luring the Banshees up because they teleport, so we can. If we give her the real estate, she will come up to us and be a relatively easy kill, he says, as he almost gets nailed. Once we've eliminated the Banshees and the Cupids from the equation... Ooh, don't know if that was above or below. I think that was below. So I heard the creak of a bow, I heard the shot, and it impacted immediately, which means one thing to me, that Cupid was close. Now, we know where he's teleported because we were abusing slow time, and we saw that white trail, that contrail. We know that he's there. That's where he has to be. So yeah, abusing the slow time is a really good way to find out where enemies are going. Now, yes, those are easy-ish shots, but we don't want to take them yet. Just want to double check and make sure that everything around here is out. I'd rather deal with that guy first before we start dealing with the things right on bottom level. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Yes! Easy headshot. So, and then... if we were playing for points, these are the headshots that you want to be going for. If you cannot make those headshots first time, or are hitting the body too many times and killing them with body shots, you are just costing yourself points. At the stage that you're at, if you're taking this advice, you're probably not worried about points, or you should not be worried about points, is what I should say. I heard you teleport, so I'll wait for you to come up. Headshots make you points, basically, regardless of whether that results in a kill or not. There's a lot of knights down here. Again, we are going to use this tactic of reducing our hitbox, giving us just the head. You can also, as I think Kim was saying earlier, you can kind of use this to gauge where you hit them. Note how he staggered back, and because he staggered back far enough, it revealed enough of our hitbox, which then allowed him to throw an X. So again, from here, we should... we should... I mean, this is an easy shot, really, isn't it? But then again, the other thing with doing it this way, if you are just getting into the rhythm of and learning how to do headshots, what better way to do it than you either get a headshot or you miss? Those are your two opportunities. Those are your two options, and it will get you better. Promise, guarantee. Promise, guarantee. Salesman, guarantee things. Promise. Now, some of them will play silly buggers with you. You've just got to wait for them to settle into throwing axes. But then sometimes they'll keep changing position on you. So where's a position that we know worked previously? Well, it was about here. You're going to stay there and throw axes. They're going to crash into that. I'm going to move a little bit further backwards. Can block that. And you stock still. If I move a little bit further backward, I'm sure you guys can see, all I can see is head, which means that as long as my arrows are at full draw, and I'm going to have to move forward a little bit, the only thing I should be able to hit is the head. Now, should you always be aiming for headshots? That depends. If the pressure is off, i.e. there is no pressure, yes, you should always be aiming for headshots. If the pressure is on, body shots can stagger the enemy. But remember, even in that situation, headshots will kill quicker than a body shot. Now, we don't want to go out. We've still got this orphan to deal with. I don't want to go to the bottom level yet. I want to do a little bit more work around here. Oh, there is one more. There we go. Easy. And there's going to be more around that corner as well. We might be able to lure some of these in. Oh, there's a little Cupid by himself there. And now we can hear the orphan because we've entered her range. Now, what does that tell me? That we went over there and we could hear the orphan, and now we've come over here and we can't hear the orphan. That tells me that there's still a shitload of enemies about because the orphan has despawned. And it'll be all these Cupids that are up top here. So we are going to see about eliminating them next. Now, this is a safer prospect than what I was doing previously, shooting down at enemies that are in open air. We want to be ideally shooting across that shot because it's not going to alert anything below. We don't really want to take that shot because of that guy. And we also don't want to take that shot because there's a monk behind. So again, we'll use a bit of cornering. It doesn't matter that that's open air either. He will still have to come round this corner. The way that you... It's a good question. The way that you avoid hitting the body at long-range headshot attempts is by doing the two things one of the two things that I've said. Oh! That was a great shot. That was not. But doing one of two things. Either maneuvering yourself into a position where all you can see of the enemy is the head. That way the only thing that you can hit is the head or bust. The other thing is aim higher than you think and bring your bow down. It's the reverse of when enemies are close. If you are at distance, you want to aim higher than you think, fire your first arrow, and then adjust accordingly. When they are close, especially if they are posing a threat, you want to, I think Rico coined the phrase of climbing the ladder, which is you start body shot, because a body shot is easy and staggers them, and then work your way up to the head. And that can make things easier. Ooh. More archers. I think that was an archer. Sounded like an archer. Again, slow time, abuse, giving him the real estate. Easy headshot. Again, even this is a little bit risky. I don't really want to be wanging arrows down there. Let's get that guy. Oh, so close. So close. Back to cover. Oh, headshot. Yes! Easy kills. Easy kills. Now, one of the things I'm hoping to do here is demonstrate what I was talking about earlier. We know that the orphan is around there somewhere, so, but we can't hear her, so she hasn't spawned in. So one at a time and very carefully, we will fire arrows down there in a hope of luring, that's a bad shot, in the hope of luring enemies that would be around her to our location. God, that felt weird. But note, the reason why you have to be careful with this is, note how I've now killed one, and that now means that there is not enough enemies in the area to so that the rule of 17 applies, and she spawned back in. So that means we have to be incredibly careful now, because any kill could spawn her back in if we get to a point where she is spawned out. Now I want to try and deal with as much stuff down the bottom before I go for her. I also want to stay out of her line of sight, and I also definitely do not want to be firing arrows down there. Like, for instance, I'm not even going to risk that shot. I'll let him teleport up because I don't want. And I'll use massive amounts. He may even just fly in. Come on now. Someone give me an idea on time? I don't know what my battery's like. I know I'm playing this incredibly slow. I don't want to shoot you. Could be a little bit touch and go with the orphan. So we had our slow time. Again, probably not enough real estate there for them to teleport into. But we know she's down there. So let's come across here. Oh, is that all? Oh, okay. It's not too bad. Hey, good. Oh, hello, Ray. Don't know if I've said hi or not. 118 minutes. Yeah, cool. 2 hours. Oh, we should still have some time. Now, this guy doesn't seem to want to pay too much attention to us, so we'll close the distance. No, that's fine, mate. That's fine. And a bit of cornering. Right, I'm speeding things up a little bit now. This is where I'll lose life because of it. We don't want to be looking over that corner. We want to be clearing all of this. Now, there is the possibility that by us going along that wall, we'll gain line of sight on her. And if we gain line of sight on her, she might run. Or she probably will run. So we want to avoid line of sight on her for as long as possible. Our line of sight on her and her line of sight on us. So we'll try and deal with what we can over here. Now, of these two, which is the more threatening? Well, of course it's the monk, so we're going to take him out first. We're going to try and take him out first. We'll probably take him out first. Don't think we're going to be able to take him out first. There you go. That has also attracted some Cupid attention. So I'm not going to go and engage that knight until I am happy that I have dealt with the Cupids that we alerted. And there might have been more, so I'm going to use a bit of slow time and do a little bit of a slow count. Have a quick draw on my cigarette whilst I'm waiting. A little slurp. It's times like this that are great for water breaks. Make sure when you are doing that that you still have your hand on the same controller that does your slow time. There's been plenty of times where I've done silly things like removed my headset when I thought I was safe and come back to a game where I've just lost 6 life or are dead. That's horrible. So yeah, don't do that. So, just the night now. Damn it. Damn it. So even look at how I'm trying to do it, and it's difficult because I'm not left-handed, but I am aiming above his head. Now, my accuracy is nowhere like it. So aiming above his head is still quite a difficult prospect, and it means that I'm overcompensating and not getting the headshots. But if this was your genuine level of accuracy, don't fucking worry about headshots. Just kill him. That's all you need to worry about. An arrow to the knee, just like an arrow to the head, means that that guy's adventuring days are over. Now, what else can we get here before we have to go down? What I do want to check... Yeah, but we can't. Oh, we can. Want to check the outskirts of this bottom bit. See if there's any more cupids. Because it's cupids that will tag you as you are trying to get the orphan. So let's see what we've got left. One night. Oh, and we can alert him too. I don't want to take that shot because I know the orphan's just round the corner. So, bit risky now, but I think we've got everything that we can get here. So now it's kind of game time. We're going to be going down there, but what we're going to try and do is eliminate... These are what I would class as, like, risky enemies. There's the possibility that killing this one will, or hitting or shooting near this one, will alert the orphan. We're going to try and get it out the way anyway, in the hope that it doesn't. But we need to be ready to move just in case it does. The way we do that is we take our shot, slow time. 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 Take our shot. So it looks like we're going to get away with that one, which is one less problem for us to deal with when we get down there, which is nice. Now let's try another angle and see if there's anything else left over there, because we're not going to be able to go much more past that angle without alerting the orphan, and this one's going to be even tighter. So it's looking like it's go time. Now, which way do I want her to run in this circumstance? Well, we've cleared everything behind us, so we know she's down there somewhere. What I would like to do is get really far past her and drive her this way, because I know there's no enemies there. I mean, to be fair, there's probably not going to be very many enemies left anyway. But still, we'll play it properly. So we're going to go long, slow time when we land, take stock of our situation. So ignore the orphan for now, because she can't hurt us. We're going to take that out. There's a knight over there as well. Take you out. Still using the slow time and making use of locomotion. Take you out now. Now that she's going, we need to get next to her. Might as well put some damage in on her. And we're going to keep on dealing with the threats. And not ignoring, because we need to pay attention to where the orphan's going. But now that all the threats are eliminated, we can just concentrate on her. Simple as that. And that, I don't think that was too much hard work. There probably wasn't much more that we could do there to get hold of that orphan. There wasn't a lot more that we could have cleared out. But all we then had to deal with was a couple of monks, a couple of knights, a couple of cupids, which is a lot better than what was in here when we started off up there, what, hour and a half ago. So we will have a quick check of this lower bit, make sure that that's clear. And then it's on to Gabe. Got Tempest, so it'll be easy. Now, we are really going to have to abuse the hell out of Gabe, because without using Tempests, Gabe is going to be a very difficult prospect, especially if I'm not hitting him in the head. So, and the problem with this is because my action and my teleporting is not going to be spot on, this could go very wrong. So, again, let's take stock of our situation. Now, we have a blood there. Collect that one last because it will stay in the level. And... so we knew that we had some blood of the lambs in here. Always use the shop resources. I mean, it should go without saying, but always use the shop resources before you use ones that are actually going to still be in the level. And that's a tour, so that saves us some money that we've got more than enough of now. I'm trying not to use any of them, so I'm not going to bother. If my battery pings up low... Let's have a quick check. My battery pings up low. Oh no, we've got loads left this time. 68%. Fuck, probably got enough to do a bit. I kind of like the idea of sectioning this down into the different areas. So I think what we'll do is, after I've completed Paradise Lost, I'll leave it there and just do a little bit of a longer after party. And I'll put the bow back in my left hand and it'll be amazing. My shooting will be so good. But that, you know, it might take us like 45 minutes to do Gabe at this rate, so. Jesus. Hang on, you lost 48 achievements? Say that again. Hang on, how did you lose achievements? What, play the bow left hand? Yeah, don't do what I'm doing if you're after achievements. What I could also do, if any of you are interested in the 0% run competition thing that... I mean, I don't want to spoil it, because part of the beauty of it is figuring out what you should go for and what you shouldn't yourself. But we could do that after this, so... Anyway, but Gabe, so... I think I've explained previously, you can work out exactly where he's going to land by walking into the 3 areas that he can land into and see which one gives you resistance, which one you can't go through. Also, there's a massive shaft of light and he takes ages to do a sword plunge. We want to teleport directly next to him straight away. And as a beginner, what you probably want to do is force him. You always want to force him off this way. And we can get some free hits on him. Just free hits all day at that point. And so, big first thing with Gabe is, if you are behind the pillar... What's he fucking done? Fucking idiot. I'm trying to do a tutorial on you here. See, normally, this is a blessing, but for when I'm playing off-handed, this is a fucking curse. Right, so this shouldn't happen. He's had a bit of a wrong in here. I don't think there's a way that I can unlock him out of that. This never happens to me on my actual runs. It always happens when I'm pissing about. Anyway, if this happens, it's easy headshots. What you should do, this is more for the scoring crowd now and not the easy crowd, but if you do get this, get as far fucking back as possible and rain in the headshots. Probably up here would be best. No. Get a line and rain in the headshots from as far away as you can, because you will get to the point where you're doing maximum damage, but you can still do the points. Now, I'm not going to be able to make these headshots, but there are places that you can get to, regardless of where he glitches, that will work. But yeah, you probably have to get as far back as here. But each one of those shots would be worth probably about 1,000 points, 800 to 1,000 points, and you can get a lot out of Gabe that way. This is really difficult because he's really far away. Yeah. Good old stationary target. So easy. This is actually quite good practice, though, for... Oh, God, look at that. Good practice for... Oh, right in the sword hilt. Take it, Gabe. What am I aiming for here? his head, believe it or not. This feels like a bit of a cop-out. I wanted to actually beat him left-handed. I think we might have to do this again, you know. Yeah. Yes. And that's left-handed. That's how you defeat Gabe. No sweat. Whew. Easy. Right. Life. Don't need it because we didn't get hit because fucking bossed him. Holy Armors. Ball Lightning 3 is a decent arrow in the early doors. The problem with Lightning Ball... So one thing that a lot of people don't know is Lightning Ball 1 actually sticks around longer than Lightning Ball 3. I know, right? What a champ. Lightning Ball 1, the ball that hits, actually sticks around for about, I think it's 12 to 15 seconds, whereas these ones only stick around for 10. But obviously there's more of them and they can do more damage. These, again, are a great arrow for clearing rooms and doing your work for you. The only problem is the amount of damage that they put out is less and less the further the cycles go on because the enemies take more hits and they don't put their damage across very quickly. So you then end up in a situation where you are waiting for them to kill enemies. But it's a good cycle 1, cycle 2, maybe cycle 3 arrow, but that's about it. I feel like we should, because I don't want to lose this run, I feel like we should go back and do Gabe, but left-handed. I'll chuck it on another profile quick, because that felt like a cop-out. But I am going to give myself the caveat of I'm going to go left-handed to get there, because then I can rooftop hop there really quick. And then I will change when we get to Gabe. And so we'll leave that run where it is. I will change profile. That's the wrong button. Change profile. Because I want to actually do Gabe. I don't think I've got anything going in the main game on this. Wasn't planning on doing any main game runs. I know, right? Hang on, is this... Oh, this is a fucking same profile. Jesus Christ. Memory like a fucking sieve. Right, let's try profile 3. I think I've got my current Fletcher run on this one, so we should be able to just wing that across. Or, no, we haven't got anything. Look at that. Now, you can, if I remember rightly, change hands, yes, in the settings menu. So, Paradise Lost. Oh, no, I've got to take Blessed Quiver with me. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get all the way to Gabe, and I'll switch hands. Oh, got you. Got you. Got you. Yes, you do have to have all your achievements in one run, but as he said, and as I've said previously, there are certain achievements that are worth getting because they then unlock a lot more and starting the game that way, and you are allowed to do that. This probably is something that allows me to accentuate something that I was talking on about earlier, is how I do this a lot when I am travelling from place to place. It's got the arms, hands wrong side there. Is using the... God, I just went between my legs. Good shot. Using the slow time whilst I'm waiting to land, and then when it does land, then pressing and holding it so that I am able to get my next shot going. If you hold it, ignore her, we don't need it. We don't need it. Oh, there goes the armour. Well, we needed to lose that anyway, because I wanted to go into Gabe the same way as we were a minute ago. Let's just... Wait. Alright, let's get in here before we get bombarded. And switch this over. I thought I was done with you for tonight. Fuck's sake. Right. This can only go well. So, back in the situation that we were in. Again, use the level resources. Oh, God, that would have been great, wouldn't it? Hand of God, look at that. First level of a new start on Paradise Lost as a fucking loot drop. So we want to use everything in the level to heal ourselves, quiver ourselves, get our arrows and whatnot. If ideally we want to try and leave that one because it's just one more thing that we can heal with when we are done with this fight. Now, what I am going to try and demonstrate quick is what I was talking about here. Now, I'm pressing forward on locomotion and it's not letting me go forward. The reason being is this is his drop zone. If I went over there or over there, I would find that I can... I'll try and demonstrate quickly. Damn it. It'll even block it there. I can walk through his zone here. Oh, well, there you go. You can see that he's doing it. Now, this one's one of the harder zones. You want to push him off that way. Get some of these amazing left-handed shots in. And get these shots in whilst he is at distance. Take cover behind the pillar. This cannot hurt you as long as you do not have line of sight with him. And I'll show you how that works now. So if I've got line of sight with him, but I am behind the pillar, he can still hit me, even though that's about as good as it gets. Forgot about that one, doesn't do that very often. And then this guy is literally a case of wait for him to do his dive down attack if your accuracy is garbage, just like mine, and then get back in behind the pillar. I left that a bit late, before he starts doing his swings. And then count to the 3, come back out and attack. Now, what we've recently discovered is, again, using this concept of gaze and cover, if we put cover to our left and keep our gaze to the right, we force Gabriel to come to us. And so we can then abuse this boss quite easily. I mean, even before this, he was quite an easy boss. But the whole concept of avoiding those sword strokes, even though they pass through the pillar, cannot hit us as long as we are, as I found, not looking at him. And I over-exaggerate it. I almost turn to a 90-degree angle to make sure, because there's been times where I'll be here and you'll get hit just like that. It's really fucking annoying. Look out for that one. He doesn't do it very often as he used to. The little retreating shot. And there you go. Easy, Gabe. Fuck for that. Stop doing left-handed now and go and play something proper. Hellfire, what a reward. God, can you imagine the accuracy on me firing that left-handed? Right. Cool, so that didn't matter. That we can turn Sanctuary on. Yeah. And then we'll change back to our profile. And then I'll do something else. Which one was it on? One, wasn't it? Yes. So yeah, Paradise Lost complete. Hopefully some of the little hints and tips and tricks that I've given out along the way will help you. Don't do it left-handed, because it's fucking idiotic. But if you are a wily vet and looking for a challenge, well, this will definitely present it you. We'll do a couple more of these because I would like to cover Abyss, the pit within the Abyss, which we'll do next. I'd also like to cover Desolation as well because, yeah, that's a fucking scary concept to be played left-handed or off-handed or whatever you want to call it. And on that bombshell, we'll call it there. So thank you all very much for your time. I have been Silver Tongue Devil. Good night.